In October 1941, Major Marina Raskova was allowed to begin forming the 122nd Composite Air Group, which would be an all-female regiment. Raskova was known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart and was the first female navigator in the Soviet Air Force, as well as holding many long-distance flight records. Because of this, many women wrote to her, expressing how they wanted to join the war effort officially, rather than just support roles. Marina saw this as an opportunity and petitioned Stalin to allow her to make an all-female squadron. He gave orders to deploy 3 all-female Air Force units: 586th Fighter Aviation Regiment, 587th Bomber Aviation Regiment, and the 588th Night Bomber Aviation Regiment, which is the one we're focusing on today. They not only were allowed to fly missions and drop bombs, but were allowed to return fire, which made the Soviet Union the first nation to allow women to engage in combat. Thousands enlisted, with 400 being accepted into each regiment. They had just 1 year to learn how to fly, navigate, and maintain their aircraft. Women were given hand-me-downs of men's uniform and shoes, which they had to fill the boots with bedding to make them fit, as well as rudimentary tools such as rulers, torches, and pencils, as opposed to the men who got radar, guns, and radios. They were given Polikarpov PO-2 biplanes, which were outdated from the 1920s and had been used as training vehicles. They were 2-seaters with an open cockpit and were never intended for combat. They had a canvas supported by plywood, which offered next to no protection against freezing temperatures while flying at night. The positives were that they could maneuver faster than Nazi planes, as well as take off and land almost anywhere. However, when under enemy fire, the pilots had to duck, causing the plane to dive, and they were at risk of being set on fire by tracer bullets due to the wooden structure. The planes could only carry 2 bombs at a time, so 40 two-person crews would be sent out at night to carry out 8 to 18 missions. The weight of the bombs meant they had to fly at lower altitudes, hence the night flying. They would return riddled with bullet holes, and Nadezhda Popova once returned with 42 bullet holes in her helmet, plane, and map. We would send the first 2 planes in as bait, flying in circles and then separating in different directions to attract the searchlights and flak guns. Then the 3rd plane would fly forwards, kill the engine, and drift. All that could be heard was a whooshing sound. They would then drop the bombs, restart the engine, and fly off. Nazis feared and hated them so much that anyone who downed one was automatically awarded an Iron Cross medal. Nicknamed the Nachthexen, or night witches, because of the whooshing sound their planes made sounded like a sweeping broom. Planes were too small to pick up on a radar, and they didn't use radio, making them difficult to detect. Their last flight was on the 4th of May 1945, and 3 days later Germany surrendered. In total, they flew more than 30,000 missions. They lost 30 pilots, and 24 were awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. The Germans believed they were either criminals who were masters at stealing or had been given injections to help them see at night. Marina died on the 4th of January 1943 when she was sent to the front line, but her plane never made it. She was given the first state funeral of the war, and her ashes were buried in the Kremlin. Although they were the most decorated unit in the Soviet Air Force, the unit was disbanded 6 months after World War II, and they weren't included in the Victory Day parade in Moscow as their planes were deemed too slow. Let me know what you